of your beautiful faces, and we're excited about the music and all the awards that are going to be acknowledged. We welcome you. We are so incredibly proud of our LaSalle Griffins, and it's so much fun having you here. So we're going to begin with a superstar. Mrs. Vienna is going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. She wants me to do it after. You said she told me to do it after. So now, thank you so much. We're going to call on Mrs. Kraus to introduce the music for the evening.
Absolutely. Good evening, all. It gives me great pleasure to introduce several of our amazing show choirs who have had an excellent competition season with 16 first place and 4 second place. Los Alamitos Sound Effects will be singing the national anthem, and Soundtracks will gift us with a piece from their award-winning competition set. And now we'll have Soundtracks come in. Soundtracks.
That's better. You have to watch on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Forehand.
Stay there.
Don't move.
Moana, I know you probably have medals, but this is even a higher honor from the Board of Education. We think what you do is amazing. So thank you.
All clear now. All clear. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you.
Could there be a more spectacular Star Spangled Banner or better presentation by our award-winning choirs? And we are so blessed because the nation gets them for one weekend. We get them all year long. I mean, who needs to go out of Los Alamitos to get the best music ever? So let's give another round of applause to our choirs. To begin the meeting, Mrs. D'Angelo, would you like to do a roll call?
Absolutely. Mrs. Parasani. Here. Mrs. Hill. Here. Mrs. Davidson.
Here.
Mr. Forehand. Here. Mr. Bragman.
Here.
Do I have a motion for adoption of our agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. The motion passes 5-0. And now we would like to turn this over to Mrs. Reed to introduce our high school presentation.
Thank you so much, President Davidson. It really is an honor to have the Griffins in the house tonight. It's something really special. We get to start many meetings. I'm inviting one of our schools to join us. And so I think it's very befitting that all of our students end up at the high school and that the high school will be our closing board report for the school season. So I'd like to welcome to the podium Principal Mrs. Christiana Kraus.
Good evening, Board President Ms. Davidson, the esteemed members of the Cabinet, also Superintendent Dr. Pulver, and the Executive Cabinet. It gives me great pleasure to really share what's been going on for the last 4 years and this year here at Los Alamitos High School. In the past 4 years, we really have built focus on three tenets: well-being, engagement, and belonging. And if you look every year at our threads and what we say we're going to focus on, it really is about unity and about elevating our students' voice and their commitment to excellence with not just academics, athletics, activities, and arts, but with each other as a community. So student wellness and connections have been a big part of our work and continues to be part of our work as we look at how we can get our students to connect with each other, support each other, and build a community of servant leaders. If you get an email from me, you will see this at the bottom of my email. For 4 years, we've talked about really just extending our support a little bit beyond our natural reach, and so everyone is taken care of. And we know that is little things systemically done with intentionality to create cultures and climates that are highly functional and create great opportunities and experiences for our students. What you see up here is just a snapshot. This year we brought in a few months before to have service dogs come in, and we got about 700 of our students to come through and be with them. And so on the left is Roddy enjoying one of the service dogs, and we actually have them coming in right before finals again to build that community, that relaxation. I personally, blew my mind how many of our students felt so much joy. I personally have 5 dogs, so I realize I get all that love all the time. But for so many of our students, this was just a place that really, they reset, they brought joy, and it was just a simple way to create an opportunity. We also have our Safe Promise Club, which is connected to our See Something, Say Something organization, and they lead our Kindness Week, and they also lead activities like yogas and games and things of that nature for our students. And so our ASB also has been very intentional in their work, extending their work outside. And if you see Griff there, they really reach out to support our neurodiverse community. And actually Griff is one of those students. So he's had that opportunity to be part of something super special on our campus. So creating connections and building that servant leadership, we know we have to create these opportunities. We have continued to expand our Link Crew program, not only in numbers, but also in opportunities to connect with our students, with plans to extend that even more so in quarterly check-ins with our incoming ninth graders. We have about a 95% attendance of our incoming ninth graders that attend the Link Crew event. And they also partnered with, I'll speak a little bit more about, with Guam, Griffins with a Mission organization this year to expand that support of our incoming ninth graders. 3 years ago, we started something called Academic Mentor Program. And this was an opportunity for juniors and seniors to support initially struggling students who are in our skills lab. Something we know is the voice of a student sometimes goes a little bit farther at times in those connections with other students. This program has taken off with 60 mentors, and it has expanded not only to our skills lab classes, but also to our life skills classes, our counseling office, our well space, and in subject specifics. So those students are really mentoring academically, as well as being there as a support system for them. And so you can see a few examples up there in the pictures of some of our mentors. And so we've had some new expansions, what we're really proud of. And again, that sense of servant leadership continues to grow on our campus. And as you can see here, it continues to expand. We have a picture of our Guam event, and I know that's a mixture of our Guam leaders and our Link Crew leaders supporting that ninth grade, setting our culture and climate. We've had students have the opportunity to represent CTE in a very large organization. And right there at the top middle, we have our Challenge Success Club. That club is part of really taking on our heritage and culture months. And what they have done is they've partnered with our clubs that represent those cultures and heritage, and they've expanded opportunities. And so there, I think they're making spring rolls, if I remember correctly. And then, as we know, our LaSalle Improv has taken a life on its own. It's always been something that's really sweet thing that gets a pretty darn good crowd in there. In the Black Box, now it's sold out every time. And it's really being supported where you see kids from all different groups coming in to support it. I know Mr. Forehand and I can attend that it's full every time. And then with the district LaSalle Improv event, we had a second year in a row of success, which that is done as a servant opportunity to support our drama program to go to the international festival. So does not directly support the improv program, and Dave Barker leads that there. We've continued to expand our college, career, and CTE experiences, and I make sure I want to get all of this in. I don't want to miss any of that. And we've been able to do that with partnering actually with a local job panels. And so we had a job panel, really how to get a job, and so students came in to hear about that. We also have added a work-based coordinator who's allowed for these expansions to occur, the career and partnership and internship opportunities. We added 4 pathway-specific field trips with Cal State Fullerton Engineering Day. We had OCC Chapman Film and Journalism Expo, Cal State Long Beach Theater Tech Program, Cisco Comp Science Business Visit, and a career expert guest speaker series we continued as we did last year. So we have professionals in our community speaking to our students and giving them real life examples of that. This year we've had athletic trainers, sports med, family doctors, pharmacists, occupational therapists, and a registered nurse. One thing we added in our career opportunities for our students was a career readiness workshops. These were 5 days that provided by field experts on resumes, interviews, personal branding, and professionalism and financial literacy. And Pinnacle, just last week, I think it was, or a couple weeks ago, we had 2 of our students who are in our fire science program here on the campus win some scholarships from ROP on their awards night, celebration of success. And so I don't know if Karina, I know that Rio couldn't make it, but if Karina Velas is here tonight? Maybe not. She won the $1,000 scholarship, and Rio Garland emailed me back. He's actually in a search and rescue class tonight, and so that's why he could not be here. And he also won a $1,000 scholarship. As we've shared, we continue to expand inclusivity and equity across our campus and ensuring our students all our students have high quality experiences on our campus. Because of the support of the Board of Education several years ago, our life skills classes were not only renovated and made beautiful, they were front and center in our school, really in the middle, and the experience for those students has dramatically changed because now they're with all of their other peers and other programs are taking them in and having them have those experiences in the CTE pathways, and et cetera. So under the tutelage of our amazing school psychologist, Ms. Belisle, and our speech pathologists, they have really, Melissa Francis and Alicia Sanchez, they have built 4 different actual businesses for our students to really learn these skills. They have a recycling business, which actually our NHS student did a fundraiser and service project that is going to allow that to expand because they raised over $2,000 to buy more recycling bins inside the classrooms and on our campus. As well as we have our mail delivery, which is always nice to get your mail delivered and that communication with them. We have our communication snack cart, which has been our business that we have that you see in our open houses and our back to school nights, where we get emails and we order and it gets delivered to us snacks. And then one of our newest ones is our blooming abilities, and that's our flower business that happens. And so our students are learning to make bouquets and deliver them and have all of those experiences. And so we're just really proud of those programs and the work that's happening in those and serving this population on our campus. Last year, we piloted a 5-star student electronic hall pass system. We did it with a couple departments here who were willing to see how this would work and to kind of figure out how we can support student safety if there's in case of an emergency, knowing which students are out and who we might need to find if something was to happen. That really is also very simple to use. And so we had the resources overall. We didn't have to put a lot of funding. So we had the Chromebooks. We had to buy a few scanners, but it worked out really well. And it improves supervision. It tracks who's out and where they're going and why, and it helps us really navigate safety, again, for our students, and also how often it reduces disruptions. Before, a teacher would have to write a pass to let them go, et cetera, and now this is just a sign out and sign back in. And also, this year, it's had some really great conversations with the few, and I will say the few students who really, maybe we need to have conversations about how many hours of loss of instruction that's happening because we are using that pass release often. But what we found is our students are truly accountable and responsible, and they are using it in a way that it should be used. We've also added it, which has made it much more efficient. We've used it for our early off-campus passes. It's a digital ID, so we can scan them out and scan them in, and also their lunch passes. That also is more efficient. Also, those little stickers can move from ID to ID sometimes when those things happen. And so it's kind of cleared up that problem that we never could figure out how to find stickers people couldn't find, right? And so we continue to look at this program and what it also can do for us. And so this year we are exploring adding next year Griffin dollars. Again, the idea of how do we get students connected? How do we acknowledge when they're doing the right thing? And so you have the ability to actually, if students attend events or they're caught in the act doing something well, to build a bank of these points that can lead to dance tickets, maybe school gear, all kinds of things in and out, gift cards, things like that. And so we're really looking at this program, how it can be used comprehensively, and really supporting the student in diverse ways. And so with that, as I've said, we have really been focused on our connectivity for the past 4 years. And I know that the 4th year, we were at about 75%, and it was shared with me that 25% of our students are not connected to anything on our campus. And so we are very proud of the work that we've done because we know this intentional work, these little things and systemic approaches have led to student increase year after year of student connectivity. Because now we're sitting at 86.23, which is really very close to some other data points. So I'm starting to think of tracking that because I'm like, wow, that's really close to another data point. And so we're really proud of that. And again, it's not just our ideas, it's really a lot of kid-driven ideas. Our increase in our clubs that we'll get into is kid-driven, a lot of the things that have come on our campus. So our students feel like they have a voice and they're really putting it to good use. Under working with these three tenets of engagement, well-being, and belonging, and working with challenge success, we really had an opportunity to really look at our student load. Again, wanting that balance. And so last year, our counselors came up with a really great part of the registration process that had our students and families really look at how many hours they have in a day, including sleep, and all the commitments that we are making, and is that a balanced choice. And because we know every student is different, and that's really a family decision, we had to also take our curriculum handbook and go out to our teachers, because we know we have already a set policy for our college prep and our honors, but our AP teachers actually did a lot of reflection when that policy came in place and thought, is the homework we're giving them purposeful? Is that homework really relevant? Does it need to be that much? And so we saw we saw our homework data, which is incredibly high, right? Our load when we did that survey. And so every AP teacher told us on average a week how much homework that class is. And that's in the curriculum handbook, so parents can refer to it when they're talking to each other. To continue with that work with our adults on our campus, for the last 2 years, we've had a teacher on special assignment for a couple of periods, Erin Reese, and she's really reached out and working on resources once a month and supporting teachers who need some more support for behavioral supports with students, but also she puts out a monthly newsletter that really talks about the research behind and simple links of resources for our teachers. She hosts events at lunchtime for the teachers, which they attend. Sometimes it's a very focused group therapy session kind of thing, and other times it's learning tips and tools and sharing practices with each other. And so, again, I talk about systemic little things that we do with intentionality to create intentional outcomes. In the past 4 years, we've been very focused on our Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3 interventions and how that supports students. And so you can see a smattering of all the activities at the top that all of our students have access to, academically as well as social emotionally. And in Tier 2, is it Tier 1, do we have him, or Tier 2? You can see that Dr. Stone is still in our world here on our campus. Dr. Stone volunteers his time, and he works with specific students to intervene and provide intervention. And then you can see here that Tier 3, really what kind of student who we're supporting, because obviously we have a responsibility to do our very best, being that we do not have an alt ed, to get every one of our students to the finish line and a fit that fits their path. One thing that isn't on there, and I'm just sharing, it would be a Tier 1, Mrs. Vienna and I, for the last 2 years, have worked with 10 or 12 seniors each that our counselors have identified that need even one more touch point, and we follow them, and we're kind of their accountability people. We're not warm and fuzzy all the time, right? But also we're making sure a lot of our students really, they have a pathway they want to get a trade, or they're thinking military, and they want to go to community college, but they don't really know what they want to do. And so we've really worked with our Career Center to get them over there more times, get them on the field trips, to make sure that when they leave us, they have a better understanding than what maybe their friend told them, to really get them that next step beyond high school. And so with all of that, we know we've loudly celebrated for the last 2 years that we have had a 100% graduation rate with all of our students who are on their diploma track, as well as we've continued to increase our A through G rate to every year and currently added 81.21. So one of our students who was already recognized as our district Every Student Succeeding, Angelina, is a student who has just incredible spirit, has done so much good work, has faced obstacles with resilience and joy. She was selected by our county division as our representative for the county, and so she will be attending, along with Miss Vienna, up to the state conference to be acknowledged and celebrated. She tried to get off work, but she couldn't tonight, but I told her she could watch it on YouTube, and so she approved of the pictures, so we're good. And so we're very excited for her. She is a young lady that her story is bigger than words can give, and literally she lights up our whole office every time she comes through. She's truly a joy. We've been very focused on looking at our teaching practices and pedagogy in the last 4 years, looking also under the umbrella of engagement. We really wanted to focus on student engagement, and we've done things like shadow days and fish bowls to really learn about what the experience is for our students on our campus. And I am proud to say that we really have seen a very high increase in that with collaborative groups and student voice. But one thing that we really try to be intentional at this year in our professional development, our secondary math collaborative are working with Dr. Michael McDowell, who really works along with Hattie's research and really dials in what really good framework of instructional practices. And we were we had him come to us on our professional development day, and he worked with each department. And so we know that often when you see it once, it's hard to keep it going, right, when you've only seen it one time. And so we've tried to take the opportunities as a team, and with Dr. Platt, he took Michael McDowell's book, and every month he does a chapter, a one-pager with links and resources. So our teachers who may not be able to read 20 pages or don't want to read 20 pages, we want to still give them that information. And now we're starting to put teachers on there on our campus who are using those practices so people know they have resources and who they could go to actually see it be implemented. So we are on chapter 6. It's going out tomorrow, I think, because we did the final edits on it. And so it's how do we keep our professional development alive? Because one and done is really done. And so that is the practices that we've been working throughout the years. We also are in our accreditation year. And so on our last professional development, we brought in other educators from all around the Southern California to do a mock WASC practice with us, with our focus group leaders, and really gave feedback so that when we went into that full visit, which I'll go into, our teachers felt a lot more confident, our staff, and again, that they knew what was coming. And that WASC really is a self-reflection celebration process. And so again, when you walk in our classrooms now, you really do see a lot of facilitation of learning. You see engagement, pedagogical shifts that have occurred, and a lot more collaborative work, a lot more ed tech technology appropriately being used. And our classes, we say, are not always in the classrooms. And so you'll often see small classes happening inside and outside our classrooms. You'll have an English teacher that they were reading a material that really the sun shining and being in with the leaves and the trees sets the tone for what they're reading. And so really allowing our teachers to be creative and innovative to ensure engagement is happening. And so when you walk through our classrooms now, you see a lot of student voice and a lot of facilitation of learning with our teachers. And so as I shared, we were in our full WASC accreditation process, and WASC is Western Association of Schools and Colleges. This is our certification that many nationally actually internationally, is a process that high schools and colleges use for their accreditations. It says that our diploma actually is validated and it works. And so it's a self-study really driven by teachers. And so you're never not in the process. So 6 years ago, there were goals set, and everything we've been doing with rising up technology appropriately used in the classroom, elevating student voice, equity, and inclusion, all of that was part of the self-identified work that the school had said 6 years ago they wanted to work on, and is what we've been working on for the last 4 years. And so this year, we went through this process. It's 3 days with about 7 members, and they go into every classroom. They have parent groups. They have the focus groups, which are made up of students, staff, and community members and parents. And so they validated what we said we knew we wanted to go. And so our next 6 years, our focus is increased data-driven instruction, explore and expand belonging opportunities, implement meaningful professional development opportunities to increase engagement, and continue to align course-like practices in skills and activities. So that we do not have what our accreditation is. We know it's probably a mid or 6 clear, May 10th. Yes, I've called a few times. May 10th will be the date that we received that accreditation. And so it was a real big celebration of everything that's been going really well on our campus, as well as identifying where we want to grow. And so we continue while our students, we are a little bit of a smaller school. We are not seeing a smaller amount of tests being taken on our campus, and we're not seeing a smaller amount of success. And so again, this last year, we had 2,329 exams taken with an average, as we know, 3 to 5 is passing with an average of a 3.8 average score, which is pretty darn remarkable, with 87% of our students receiving a 3 or higher on their AP tests. And so our projection, again, we're quite a bit smaller, but we're pretty close. And so what we are seeing happen is what AP is recognizing is that, again, we are on the AP honor roll, but what and again, you see 62% of our students last year took at least one AP exam, and 55 of that class of 2024 received college credit. And then we were recognized as all students access that participate and succeed in APs. And what that means is our underrepresented populations, generally, they're saying we're killing it. Right? And so that goes back to our equity and inclusion and ensuring our students have access to all higher levels, no matter what their circumstances are. And not only that, they're doing really well when they're taking those exams. So another data point we're very proud of is the ongoing decrease of the D and F rate for the last 4 years. Again, through pedagogical experiences and reflection and intervention practices and investment in engagement, well-being, and belonging, we have seen this data plummet. And so often the students we have to work with, it's a much smaller number when they are not successful in first-time instruction. Along with that, 82% of Griffins are on one of 2 honor rolls, and 82%. 60% of them are on the principal's honor roll, which is a 3.5 or higher. And so again, high achieving, supportive of each other, and this really takes a village for these kind of markers to shift. And now we go into our CASP. And CASP for us has been one that we're like, what's going on? We've moved up a little. I'm really proud to say that our math team and our English team have made a goal in 6 years where it is, and our English wants to be at 86% and our math wants to be at 65%. And so we really, through our data dive, started unpacking where are we falling off on the almost met. What is some of the things that might be happening there? Looking at those students' profiles and trying to figure out what are some of the instructional opportunities we have to support, because we do have a significant group barely missing MET, a very significant group. And so there's a really great opportunity. We've also collaborated on testing and how we want to do that. And our teacher said, we want to test our kids, and we'll give 4, English is doing 4 periods in a row. So our kids aren't sitting in a 2-hour block, They're going to be testing, and our math is doing that, as well as our science just did that. We've also added, a little bling to this class. If you've met or exceeded, we have chords for the CASP for math and English this year. So that'll be the first year we're doing that. And now we come to some other celebrations, and that is our students their junior year took the PSAT. And I don't want to miss a beat on this because this is kind of a big deal, or a really big deal. Our National Merit Scholars. I want to just give the scope of the amount of people who are entered into this process, and then how many of our kids are here today to be celebrated. Initial entrants, approximately 1.6 million high school juniors enter the competition annually by taking the PSAT. Commended students, the top 50,000 scorers, 1.6 million down to 50,000 scorers, received commended. So we have 15 commended students, and we'll be celebrating them individually in just a moment. Of those, about 34,000 are designated as commended students and do not continue competition. Semifinalists, around 16,000 students advanced as semifinalists, representing the top scorers in each state. And then from semifinalists, approximately 15,000 semifinalists meet additional academic extracurricular criteria to become finalists, but we're not done yet. And then to be the scholarship winner, it's only 7,165 finalists are selected across the nation to receive a Merit Scholarship Award. In the past 4 years, we have had one every single year. So with that being said, I would like to honor our 15 commended. When I call your name, if you could stand up. Lucas Beltran, Craig Burrell, Praise Chow, Jeffrey Chung, Alexander Erskine, Sydney Forsyth, Melody Gibbons, Hiram Hugh, Isabella Kim, Adam Kogan, Caitlin Maddie, Emma Osborne, Nicholas Palos, Kayla Ree, Woon Chan Shin. Come on up. And as you can see, all of our semifinalists moved to finalists this year. And so if you're here, come on up. Warren Caruth, Jacob Leung, Daniel Lai, Vivian Moore, Tracy Nguyen, Avery Yu, and Mira Zekes. Thank you. You guys can be seated. Oh, do you want to get a picture? Go ahead. Go ahead. Parents, I think you're good, guys. I think you're good. Thank you. And so here we transition to our other A's that are just as dynamic and powerful. Again, a school that is really rich in success, but not just in wins, but in our culture and climate and our core values. And so this year, we've had incredible athletic success. Currently, we are at 13 league champion teams. The other day, we signed 41 national letters of intent signees, pretty huge, and then 21 CI playoffs qualifying teams that will have played beyond in playoffs, and we have a few still coming through right now. We also, as I shared before, continue to see the focus of activities as how we connect all students who don't naturally connect to a sport, to an art. How can we find ways? And we've really seen our clubs, again, become very, they keep growing every year. And I shared earlier, we're noticing service clubs keep expanding, a lot more service clubs. I'd like to acknowledge a club that was just started a couple years, our Kindness Club. Our Kindness Club has done an incredible job. They do fundraisers, and they've focused on our life skills students to create activities and experiences for them. As we know, our Interact Club is a very traditional club that does a great job of not only fundraising to support our local community, but also international clean water, right? They fundraise every year to provide that. And so we continue to reflect, we get feedback from our students to see how can we, again, grow, connect all of our students here at LoSal. We also have an incredible fine arts and performing arts programs. We offer a variety of disciplines. We expanded our Griffin Gallery, which is just absolutely gorgeous and really has continue to shine what happens in our fine arts. If you walk our campus, you'll see the totems that were done by our ceramic students, and again, bringing that to life. We know we're a nationally recognized program, but never satisfied. Again, we have national champions, internationals. Our orchestra this year didn't like what their scores were at Segerstrom last year, and they got all superiors this year in orchestra. And so we see this time and time again in all of our programs, highly successful and very large. I would say it's the first school I've ever been at where they may be bigger or the same as athletics, right? How many students we have, and some of them are crossing over, right? They do both. And so we're very proud of those programs. And here comes some more celebrations. Again, a lot of success. And so I first want to talk about song. Our game day song leaders were national champions in Florida. Can you stand up and be recognized? Stand up. You want to bring them up? Or you want to bring them up? You guys, you want to come on up? Come on. Come on. I also want to share that Jen Ramirez, her program was just celebrated as the highest through St. Jude's, the highest raiser of funds to donations in the nation. And so a few students were sent out to Tennessee, and they got to experience 3 days at St. Jude's and all the experiences. So not only are they national champions on stage, they're national champions in servant leadership right there. Congratulations. I'd love to now bring up our Division I CIF Championship male basketball team. Come on up, guys. If you were not there, it was a sea of white. It was 3/4 LoSal, 1/4 the other team. And so I share, I was a very proud principal. I've told people this. We played Maricosta. Fun fact, I went to Redondo Union, and they were our arch rivals. So I say on that night, I was a proud principal and a proud 1990 Seahawk grad. So it was a great game. We're super proud of them. And if we could have our grand champion soundtracks come back up again. Come on up, ladies. If you've never been to a Nashville competition, holy cow, the competition is fierce. The sound is beautiful, but also if it's not, it's very noticeable because that Grand Ole Opry does not lie. These young ladies not only killed it, they did it with class. They never stopped cheering on other groups, telling them how amazing they are. So that culture was just beautiful to see. And last but definitely not least, if I could have our drama students who are superior ranks, meaning they qualify. Come on up, guys. They qualify for the international competition, not the national, but the international competition. Then they'll compete in July, actually. That fun weather out there, I think it's Indiana, right, guys? Indiana. And so these students, again, represent such amazing talent. You're good. Thank you. Thank you. And some other accolades from our sports, from our winning basketball team. Not only did we win CIF Division I, but Wes Trevino was awarded first team all CIF. Wes, is he here? As well as Trent, he received CIF Player of the Year. And as I shared with Coach when I saw this picture, perfect. That might be the face you see about 50 times a game. Coach Berger, they couldn't have caught a better shot of him. That's kind of how he looks, very excited during the game. So congratulations to all of you. So with that being said, we not only are busy and bustling with all fun student stuff, we also have been bustling for quite a few years on renovations and new projects and growth. And so we're excited. You know, I know that we are successful without pretty spaces, but I know there's research that says you're even more with pretty spaces. And so we're very appreciative of the commitment to continue to expand our programs and also clean up a lot of our spaces. And so in the last 4 years, these are some of the things that have happened. 65 of our classrooms, additional bathroom in our STEM and PLC rooms for our staff, new roofs, which was really scary a few years ago when we were flooding out. In the PAC in 3 of our buildings, expanded Griffin galleries. I shared the updated expanded life skills classrooms. We're super excited, still on schedule. Our new competition gym in August, super exciting about that. Our new weight room, as well as this summer, we're renovating our activities, ASB and CTE bungalows. We are renovating our dance rooms. And then we begin the early work in the PAC renovations, band rooms, hallways, offices, and some upgrades in the 700s really on technology and exterior facelift. And so super excited again for our students and our staff to come back to it even being elevated at another level. And so again, thank you for your commitment to supporting that work on our campus, because we know it's you guys who say yes to that. And so we really appreciate that commitment to excellence in our facilities. And we know that communication is key, and we've been very consistent with our communication throughout the years. I think our families know that on Sunday at 6 o'clock on the dot, a community newsletter comes out, really trying to make sure not only do we give tons of information, but really celebration and resources for our families. Our staff also gets that their newsletter at the same time weekly, again, tailored more to them. They get both of them, so if there's some things they want to see going home, they have access to that. We also always celebrate our students of the months and our senior students of the week. And something we implemented 3 years ago, because we are such a big campus and with a lot of staff, is that bi-monthly now, I started as monthly, bi-monthly now, I do principal snack and chat. And so my office is opened up all day with some type of themed food, and I work and people come in and either with an idea, just to say hi, a concern, a complaint. I'd rather handle it that little than that big. And so we dive forward into solving what's going on. It could be that our hedges in the walkway need to be trimmed till we have this great idea about valedictorian signing day, right? Which we did once the teacher brought that idea to us. And so we believe we constantly want to be improving our communication. And so, but these are some of the key ways that we do that. And we know always we cannot do this without all the partners and all the families. We know that our programs would not be rich and as successful without the family commitments of our boosters. We also know that our relationship with LAIF and the supports they provide us is huge in our success on our campus and for our students, as well as all the local stores and community that really support us. When we ask for anything, they generally say yes. And so really for WASC, I'll just give you an example. We spent no money on food for the visiting committee because of our community who supported us in that. And so now we're going to move on to another high distinctive award, and that's our Golden Eagle Scout recipients. And so I really want to read what that is to make sure that, again, I don't miss exactly what this is, because it is such a high honor and award. Our Eagle Scout and Gold Award represents the highest honors in Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, celebrating young leaders who exemplify commitment, character, and community impact. Both awards require perseverance, initiative, and the completion of a significant service project that creates lasting, positive change. They reflect a spirit of leadership, civic responsibility, and a deep dedication to make the world a better place. And so what we have now is a little video that highlights our student award winners. If I could have before that, Diego Amesquez, stand up if you're here, and come on up. Jessica Bay, Richard Birch, Connor Caruth, Kristen Chan, Sydney Forsyth, Luciana Grisoff, Joshua Hahn, Alexandra Hatakeyama, Olivia Ininaga, sorry if I did that wrong, Owen Lee, Caitlin Nakagawa, and Logan Reed, and Tristan Tanamura. You good? Good job. And to showcase some of the work, we have a quick video of the projects that they completed. What I love about so many of these projects is that it doesn't finish when the project is done. So many times our students expand on the project or come back and check on what's going on and what they can do even when the project is done. Just recently, I met Sydney Forsyth came to meet with me. As you know, she took a life of its own, the Anne Frank Project, the first school in Orange County to have that. And she came back with another idea. And so I'm so proud of her because this was a student-led initiative and she made it happen. She did all the heavy lifting. We just supported it. She came to me saying, hey, I want Los Alamitos City to have an Anne Frank Day. I said, okay, I know somebody. So I did an email connection, and I'm proud to say, I think it's May 12th will be Los Alamitos official Anne Frank Day here in the city of Los Alamitos. And so with that, thank you.
On behalf of the Board of Education, we know this doesn't happen with strong leadership. So, Mrs. Krause, to you, thank you for all you do.
Thank you. That one on your foot. I think they're missing one. Here. There you go. You need two more. There you go. You got David in the front right there. We're good. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Krause. That was phenomenal. Would the board like to make comments?
Yes, I would actually. I'd love to. I am a lucky parent that has a child at LaSalle, and I have another one coming in. And I think, you know, Mrs. Krause, what you said about at the end of your emails, your signature says, beyond, if we reach beyond our natural reach, all students can be taken care of. And I think you truly embody that. And I can attest to that as a parent, but also just throughout your presentation. You can see that all students are really cherished and recognized, and I really appreciate that because it's, you know, from the neurodiverse group to the AP group to the kids that need a little extra support, the amount of personal attention that you guys give and the recognition that you have for all kids to really see what they bring to the table is truly inspiring. And like I said, I feel very lucky that as a parent of students that are going through this program and through this school. So I appreciate everything that you do. And I think that there's so much more that even happens on day to day on that campus that we just didn't have time to see today. So thank you. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you to all the wonderful teachers and the parents that are so involved and make this happen.
Mrs. Hill?
Thank you. Awe-inspiring. And I say that because you take something, I made a note, you take something with the digital hall pass that allows us to have more control, more accountability, but you also frame it in a way that doesn't make students feel like it's punitive, gives them a reward system for it as well, utilizing that, thinking about that. When you talk about intentionality, you are amazing at that. And you can tell that everything you do has that behind it, and all of your staff and your leadership. And so I'm just so proud of that, and so proud of all the potential leaders we have on our campus and in our schools. It makes me so hopeful for the future because I see different kinds of leaders in different ways, and it's just really, really beautiful. And it's not just one or two, or it's not just this group or that group. It is all the way through the campus. And so thank you, and thank you to all of the Los Alamitos staff, to the students, and amazing parents that we have that support them. Thank you.
We so often echo each other, but I cannot thank you and the leadership team enough for the guidance and support you provide to the students, the whole student at the school. High school is hard, and there is so much pressure on you students. I cannot imagine. It's so different than it was when we went to school. And you go to school every day, and you work on academics, you work on yourselves, you're playing basketball or singing and dancing or running these hundreds of clubs that we hear about. And the pressure is so heavy, and you're handling it in such an amazing way. And I know that when the pressure gets heavy and it's hard to handle, you have a great team around you to provide the support, whether it's the staff, your parents, being on that campus, custodial staff, counselors, psychologists, everyone that is there for you. And we hope to be able to provide that support as well. So we're so thankful to be a part of the journey you're on, and just continue to push on that path. Whether you're a senior, a lot of you, we're going to see where you're going to college next year. Whether you're a freshman, you're just starting out, the path is going to be amazing. The journey is one of great success. So thank you for letting us be a part of that with you.
I agree. But I'm also a proud grandparent who will have his two grandsons enjoy everything you're creating, and they'll be well taken care of. So thank you.
It's so magical what happens on that campus. And when I look out at all of you, parents, students, our counselors, our teachers, our staff, our coaches, our directors, our admin, every single person on that campus is a reason why it's such a magical place. And it's such an honor to serve on a board where you live in a community with people who have such heart and never stop giving. And I deeply appreciate all that's being done for mental health, because I think that very initial plan to talk with parents when students are coming in to the high school, because I feel like we live in a community where every single one of you thinks you're supposed to do everything, and you're supposed to do it at the very highest levels. And we're just asking you to stay happy, find your passion, go after your dreams, and look around you for the support you need. And I know that when we say there's 86% or whatever it is engagement at this recorded engagement of students on the campuses, I know that every single adult and every student leader is out there looking for that other 13%, because you care about each other. And that's a community that I want to see grow up and be the ones who are in charge and lead this country, because we are so proud of you. And Mrs. Krause, I think the board is going to want a copy of your PowerPoint, because it was really hard to keep up with so much. It is you're an amazing group with gigantic hearts and a spirit that never stops. So thank you very much. And now, Dr. Pulver.
Yes, and like you, Mr. Foran, I agree. However, I would like to just share a few other things. You know, I think you can't help but to be inspired when you take a look at the accomplishments of our amazing Griffins and what it means to be a Griffin. And I think it's really powerful. One of the things that we often talk about is that the hallmark of this district are the people, and this room is filled with all of that. What we're talking, incredible students. Staff who run towards our kids, whether they be coaches or counselors or psychologists or teachers, just in so many ways. And we talk a lot about our parents and our business community. I see even some of our business community in the back here who really rally behind our youth, and it creates a family atmosphere. And sometimes people get intimidated by a high school that has over 3,000 students. And yet you can see the intentionality and the family. I kind of wrote down that word, family, that family atmosphere that's really been created to uplift all of our youth. Beyond impressed to see the intentionality with Link Crew, to constantly see the check-ins back in with our ninth graders throughout the system. Over 60 student mentors, whether it be the expansion of our CTE, but to see a high school who's a powerhouse. Sometimes a lot of high schools, they might be the academic high school, or they might be really the performing arts high school or the athletic high school. Los Al is all. We are about all the 4 A's, and there is something for every single student, whether they're in film, whether they're in drama or behind the stage or in ASL or in football or basketball or cheer or song, etc. There's something for every, or kindness clubs and individual students who create the Anne Frank exhibition that we've never had, but also that would not be possible without really exceptional leadership who've been really invested in Los Al. I just want to thank you, Mrs. Krause, and your entire leadership team for all that you do to really uplift and support our youth, because that cascades to staff, et cetera. So thank you, and it's a great place to be a Griffin. Thank you.
And now, Mrs. Krause, you have a very special presentation.
I do. Our 2025 Hero of the Heart is actually a community member, a local business. I'm going to ask if Mark Hernandez could come on up. He is our Hero of the Heart. Congratulations. I'm going to share a little bit about Mark, and probably what I'm sharing isn't even, it's a smidgen of what it is, but we're incredibly grateful to have Mark Hernandez as our local Subway sandwich shop owner, whose unwavering generosity and partnership have made a meaningful and lasting impact on Los Alamitos High School community. Mark consistently goes above and beyond, not only through his willingness to sponsor staff and student programs, but also through his constant brainstorming of creative ways and thoughtful ideas to give back, whether it's providing delicious meals during Staff Appreciations Weeks, which he just donated for the 4th year in a row for our spring launch, 200 plus lunch boxes for our staff to enjoy 4th year in a row. But also he supports academic and extracurricular initiatives only to find unique ways and opportunities that uplift students' morale. Mark's dedication to our school is felt throughout the campus. This relationship goes beyond just lunch boxes. You'll see Mark at so many of our events, whether it's the Jazz Fest or it's at a sports game. He really supports all of our students and all of our programs, so much so because he feeds everybody for little to nothing. We still are trying to figure out how he survives with how much he donates to us. And so thank you, Mark, for your continued kindness, your constant creativity, and finding new ways to support our school, and your joyful presence at every turn. Your generosity reminds us that community partnerships are powerful and deeply personal. We truly are fortunate to have you as a friend and a champion of Los Alamitos High School. You have a heart of gold and are more than deserving to be our hero of the heart. Cassandra gets
Thank you guys so much. Unexpected. All of you athletes, all you guys, keep doing what you're doing. Great job.
On behalf of the board, this is our highest honor. It's the thank you. You are awesome, and you make a difference for our kids.
Oh, Mark. Mark. And you'll be going on our plaque. And you'll be added to the 2025.
Oh my God,
Yeah?
thank you so
You're
much.
welcome. You're
Thank you
welcome.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you again for allowing us to have this opportunity. It truly is a joy to celebrate everything that's going on our campus. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And now I'd like to invite Dr. Weisbright up to make a special presentation.
Thank you, Madam President. Good evening, Los Alamitos High School community. My name is Ryan Weisbright, and I have the fortunate privilege of recognizing our Employees of the Year. So before we talk about this individual, I'd like to bring her up. Huge congratulations to Mrs. Cara Vienna, our District Administrator of the Year. So we have a lot to celebrate with this individual, and a lot of us that want to speak about her, but I just have to take a moment to say how much I truly admire and appreciate the opportunity that I've had to work with Cara. Cara, if you know, and if you've interacted with her at Oak, at McAuliffe, or now at the high school, truly embodies what it means to be a servant leader here in Los Al. She stands for everything that we stand for when it comes to supporting kids, supporting staff, listening to others, leading with her heart, and meeting people where they're at. I have personally benefited a ton from working alongside her, and so giving you this recognition here for our district, for our county, et cetera, more to come, is a great privilege. So congratulations, Cara. Dr. Pulver.
Well, there is so much to be able to share about Ms. Cara Vienna, who's taking a deep breath because she knows she's going to be speaking shortly. But Cara really is just an exceptional, human being, exceptional mother, exceptional colleague, and an exceptional administrator. I think her husband would probably say an exceptional wife as well, and an exceptional mom, and daughter as well. As Ryan alluded, you know, Cara has been with us in so many different ways, well over 15 years. And even when she tried to kind of quasi-leave, she really didn't leave. So she started off with us in various positions, but a large part at the high school as a teacher, working within the special education department. And then she went to our SELPA, which was really as a program specialist to support every single school site on this in this district. So she's a unique administrator who's really been able to work at every single school and support all students and to support families in a myriad of different ways, and really wanted to grow and blossom some of her leadership skills, and was assistant principal at Oak Middle School. And then we forced her to go over and kind of help Ryan when he was a new principal at McAuliffe. And, you know, I guess that's what she does. She helps new principals. So then when Christiana was brand new to Los Alamitos High School, had the fortunate opportunity to hire an assistant principal, and there was no one better than Miss Cara Vienna, who's then been at the high school throughout these past 4 years. In this, and to just see Christiana just blossom and grow. She's such a Cara, not well. Christiana's blossom and grown too. Yeah, but you have. Thank you, Madam President. To see Cara just blossom and grow and excel every single day. But she's someone who just
when we talk about running to our students, she runs to students. She's a student advocate. She cares deeply about all kids and connecting families and providing support. She cares deeply about wanting to improve the emotional well-being of students, and I think that's really in alignment with our district culture, is that we're raising really strong individuals to thrive as adults, and you cannot thrive without really focusing on their social and emotional well-being as well, and that's an area. And then, you know, you probably saw this already through Christiana's presentation, so we have a lot of this within our administrators at Los Alamitos High School, but I often describe Kara as a firecracker, and she's just a firecracker of energy who is always there to be present for other humans, whether it be for other adults, other kids, or one another. And so I have the extreme honor to also share, not only did we really recognize this incredible woman and her leadership skills and her talent, she has also been named as the Orange County Secondary Co-Administrator of the Year. And she's gonna get recognized at the county level. I believe it's May 12th at a special dinner, but it didn't stop there. Her exceptional abilities really got her the recognition at the state level. She is the State Secondary Administrator of the Year. So congratulations, Kara.
So I knew how long she was deserving of this because I get to work with her every day. And a lot of what is strong about Kara has already been presented, but another characteristic of a great leader is someone who is courageous and brave and willing to have crucial conversations, be a team player at all times, and really ways she talks to people hear it. And so she celebrates, she's the best at celebrating people. We all learned from her, and she was fixing something on the way here for me. She celebrates individuals. She's every adult with little children's auntie. You know, I mean, it's like she's always there for everybody, but she is someone who I know when we have to have brave, bold, courageous conversations, she's someone who can do that too. And so that is really, to me, something that leaders have to be all those other things to really be successful. And there's no doubt she is so deserving of this award. Anything I have an idea, sometimes she can push me to be brave and courageous in times where I'm like, I'm not sure, and vice versa. But she really is someone I bounce so many ideas off of and really makes our team stronger every day. So.
Well, I, along with everybody else, celebrate this incredible person. When she was at McAuliffe, I had just retired as a teacher from there, and all I could hear about, because my friends were still there, I knew Kara, but I didn't know her. All they would talk about is how wonderful it is to work with Kara. And as I got to know her, and I'd visit the campus, and we got to be great friends. Her energy, her passion, her love is so engaging and so invigorating for everybody else. It doesn't matter. You could be dead tired crawling on the ground, and this lady will lift your spirits and lift your heart. And if we look back in our lives, it's those tough conversations, those people who impacted us along the way that we remember had a changing influence. And the reason why they had a changing influence is not just because she's wicked smart, incredibly empathetic and insightful, but because they build a trust and you feel valued by them. And Kara is so exceptional at making every human being feel truly valued and loved. And then when you feel that value and love and that trust she establishes and that belief that any one of us can be better or be our best part of ourselves, then she can have that tough conversation and be respected and loved for it. So you need those kind of leaders. And what I always love is that not only can she have those tough talks, but like I said, you cannot walk into a room with Kara Ravina and not smile. You can't. You cannot. I mean, the joy that comes from her is effervescent and completely takes in everybody in the room. So I'm deeply honored on behalf of the board to honor you for all the levels. Maybe you're going to the White House. I don't know if they do that anymore. But Kara, thank you. And we have a special card. a gift from Leif for you. And we have a special award. In my clumsiness, don't drop it. Yeah. We love you dearly, and we're honored to have you represent us in the district all the way to the state. You're an angel, and you're a person that we value with all our hearts.
Oh boy. Here we go. Sorry, this is a little long, but you don't get these opportunities very often, so bear with me. Good evening to our Board of Education, Madam Board President Mrs. Davidson, Superintendent Dr. Pulver, Executive Cabinet, Los Alamitos community, colleagues, family, friends, and all of you online. Receiving this recognition leaves me feeling immense gratitude and appreciation for the journey that all of you had trusted me with. Sorry, this is so high. I have been in education since 2001 and chose my career path because of an unfamiliar job that I took on immediately following college graduation. In education, we often tell students that your path will find you. Choose to be a person of integrity, someone with strong work ethic, and pay attention to what drives your passion. We advise young adults to choose something they love, and your workday will drive your why, not your paycheck. We tell kids to treat every colleague or person that passes their career path with same respect they want from others. We remind them that the world is small and that you never know who your next boss is going to be or who may never forget the way you made them feel when they were new. All of these words of wisdom that quite honestly we struggled to believe when we were in their shoes as young adults is exactly how I'm here today. Immediately graduating from college with a bachelor's degree in human services, I plan to go into social work field and help kids that fell into the system. I was passionate about helping others overcome their situation and rebuild themselves. 3 internships later and lots of exposure to despair, I went out on a limb and I applied for something I knew very little about. My first full-time career job was at a nonprofit agency for adults with disabilities. It is really true. When you know, you really, really know. And I was exactly where I belonged. The gratitude I have for the founder of Project Independence and her ability to see potential in me as a young, inexperienced college grad changed the trajectory of my career path. Truly, credit lies with those adult clients that taught me what it means to live, love, and thrive. Helping Charlie navigate how to live in his own home, teaching Warren how to prepare the meal his mom made him when he was little, and helping Ellen be the best single mom to her 4-year-old child that was typically developing. It was these adults that taught me how to embrace diversity and grow in a world that does not always set people up for success. It was my clients that taught me to have grace, learn about each person's story before you judge, and see the best in people and recognize that together we are stronger and have way more fun. My clients taught me the true meaning of humility. 5 years later, I excitedly enrolled in a credential and master's program in special education and loved every second of that learning curve throughout this new adventure. I was so excited about getting a job as a special education teacher that I applied before I actually received my test scores in the mail. Good news, I passed. I got the job, and my new career was off to the best start. Middle school RSP teacher in Norwalk, La Mirada with Papa forehand. Does it get any better than that? It actually did. 4 years later, and joining the Los Alamitos Griffin family, the one Orange County community that feels small town and homegrown. I look back on my 20 years here, and I could not have asked for a stronger challenge. The district provides everyone that is invested with a sense of pride, a drive to want to be the best for kids, and a community that you would choose to share your life with. The countless number of students, staff, and fellow teachers that helped me rethink, reteach, repurpose, and evolve. This type of growth only happens when one feels safe, supported, and encouraged to take risks, make mistakes, and celebrate wins. I have been led by advocates, including department chairs, assistants, neighboring colleagues that checked on me, psychologists that believed in my work, parents that gave me patience, and administrators that mentored me. Every step of my journey could have never evolved without a strong foundation and a place with no expectations and lots of unconditional love. I am most humbled by the people I get to call mine every single day. Mom, Dad, you raised me to be one strong, expressive, and bold little girl. You kept those expectations high, lifted the guardrails when I needed them the most, and held me so tight that I could suffocate from the love. My brother, who as much as I harass, was my first mentor. The guy that watched from the sidelines and knew exactly when the timing was right to save me from my own defeat. My husband, Ronnie, there is an obvious reason why I chose you. He cooks really good. I saw in you from the second I met you, the guy every girl would be so lucky to have in their life. You've never, in our 30 years of knowing each other, veered from your promise to me. You let me shine when I shouldn't. You fight for what's right in the world for everyone, and you do exactly what you should when no one is watching. You have helped me walk the walk, talk the talk, and when I fail, and I do, you help me try again. To my kids, Mia, my firstborn, your journey is living proof that grit is real and love is ingrained. Your beauty has a depth that when seen by others, it's undeniable that you are special. And Jude, our youngest and our peacemaker, you have shaped us as parents and helped us realize we are on the right path. You give from your heart, you ask for very little from the world, and you show up for others every day. I have so many family members and my best friend from life, Lori, that's here, and they're amazing and a part of who I am today. It is remarkable to look back on our independent journeys and truly appreciate the way we arrived. And although in my heart of hearts, I believe this recognition belongs to all of us, we did this. And without the canvas to allow the magic to happen, none of this is possible. So I end with where I started. Remember that it is the beauty of imperfection that drives to us to our version of achieved perfection. Thank you to my work family, my home family, my amazing counseling, psychology, school site team, my principal, my assistant principals, and all of those that have been there for me in my highest and my lowest. I am humbled and honored. Thank you very much.
Just to bring it back to reality here, when she first announced, I don't know if you remember this, when you were first our Administrator of the Year back in November, I heard a comment from her in the back, and it said, "It better be a big medal." Well, now she is, on behalf of the board, the biggest medal.
I don't get the jacket, but I get the medal.
Yeah, you get the medal. But this medal we've adorned it, the board and I, with "You rock, you are awesome, thank you for being amazing, you make a difference." The only one, Dr. Pulver, I couldn't find was a sticker that said "You're a firecracker."
Everyone does.
So, for outstanding performance on behalf of the board. Is that big enough, John?
Yes. Look out, Mr. T.
Yeah.
So proud. We now have one last presentation. Dr. Pulver.
Yes, thank you. And for those who got awards and recognitions, please stay. We're going to do a recess briefly after this next presentation. We'd love to get pictures. But I would now like to call up our wonderful PTA Council President, Miss Ruth Ann Kirkjian, who also just received a Golden Service Award from the PTA Council and was recognized just this week, along with many others. And she has a further recognition to be able to give to an individual or individuals this evening. So thank you, Ruth Ann.
Oh, thank you so much. It is a pleasure to be here. Thank you for making time, Mrs. Davidson and the board. Thank you for giving us this opportunity. As Dr. Pulver said yesterday, we hosted our annual PTA Council HSA breakfast. At that breakfast, we honor all those who the individual units have recognized with various HSAs, and we also recognize those that the council would like to honor with HSAs. There are many different categories. This category is an Outstanding Administrator Award, and we are very, very proud to honor Mrs. Andrea Reed. And of course, very pretty flowers. Mrs. Reed has really partnered with the PTA Council and with parent leaders for many years, and particularly in the last 3 or 4. So much has changed with how our kids are learning, what's going on in schools, and she comes to every meeting we request and invite her to, willing to answer all our questions and engage. And never does she make us feel as if we are asking questions that are uninformed or questions that maybe she's already heard 3 dozen times. Every question, whether or not she agrees with the premise or agrees with what the person is saying, she engages, and she engages fully. When we have made recommendations, she has taken those and made adjustments where perhaps adjustments needed to be made. And she was also never afraid and trusted us enough, and always trusts us to tell us, we don't really agree with that. And it is made for such an incredibly strong partnership. And truly, Mrs. Reed is someone who I think is just such a dynamo. Sometimes people forget to recognize and honor. And so we are very proud this year to honor you. Thank you so much. You are very welcome.
Well, I just want to say that I'm absolutely grateful and thankful, and that I am just so fortunate because I've got to show up to 18 years to what is my favorite job I could ever ask for. I get the privilege to serve a community that I've raised my family in. I feel so blessed every day to come to work and work with people who truly believe that if anything's possible, it's possible here in LaSalle. And so parents are that magical piece of the recipe that really makes everything happen in our school district. We say that all the time. We have amazing staff and students, and the parents are I'd say the equalizing force that make us the best place to send your family to school. So thank you so much for trusting us every day with educating your children. I feel very fortunate. Thank you.
Like yesterday, the 3 got the board's Medal of Honor, and we could not forget you. On behalf of the board, you make a tremendous difference.
And Madam President, congratulations, Mrs. Reed. But yesterday also I want to recognize Miss Tina D'Angelo also received an HSA recognition on behalf of the PTA Council. With that, I'm going to turn it back over to you for a recess so we can take some pictures.
So if your family's here, any award winners, any group that we didn't get your picture, please stay. There should be cookies still out in the foyer. Not quite sure after choir left, but there should be cookies. And football, basketball. No, the basketball is still here. Yeah. Okay. So we'll just have a very short recess for pictures, and then we'll come back and do public comments and continue on with business.
Let's quickly do our hero of the heart.
We are coming out of recess, and we welcome you. It was a fabulous celebration of wonderful people. We have one public speaker, one speaker for the public forum, so I need to read this part. The board welcomes input from the public. This is the opportunity for community members to address the board. Persons wishing to address the board should complete a speaker request card prior to the start of each meeting. Each speaker is limited to a maximum of 3 minutes. Public comment is limited to a total of 30 minutes. Comment cards can be submitted to the district office anytime from 9 a.m. the day of the board meeting and will also be accepted at the start of the board meeting. A speaker may not relinquish his or her time to another. When addressing the board, speakers are requested to address the board from the podium, state their name, and adhere to time limits. The board may not take any action or discuss any item not appearing on the posted agenda and cannot immediately respond to public comments. Speakers are cautioned that under California law, no person is immune from liability for making intentionally false or defamatory comments regarding any person simply because those comments are made at a public meeting. So with that, we welcome Erin Anderson to the podium, and thank you for your patience. That was a long one.
It was a great presentation and everything, and I'm going off the cuff, so just, will it stop it?
I'll start with you.
Okay, awesome. Because so much of what was said comes back to what I'm going to say too. So I'll just stop when it stops.
So my family is from out of the district. We actually came from homeschooling. I've spoke here once before, right as COVID was in the midst. And I'm here because my daughter, who is now in college, came to me as a 7th grader and said, Mom, I have to go to Los Alamitos High School, and I have to be in their show choir program under Mr. Mullenkamp. I didn't know anything about show choir, didn't know who this Mr. Mullenkamp was. My daughter was a dancer. She'd played club soccer, softball, competitive gymnastics, and she decided on dance. She hates singing, would rather do anything but sing. Why in the world would you want to go be in a show choir program? If you want to go to the school, we'll look into that. Why not be in dance? No, Mom, you don't understand. She was right. I did not understand. I said no. I said no for 8 months, and she wore me down. And come time to start doing inter-district transfer things, she had me worn down. She had me sitting in the parking lot a half an hour before the district opened the day to turn in papers for the lottery system, however that works. She had the alarm set and everything. And lo and behold, here we are. And I told her, you're going to be a nobody in that choir program because you've never been in there the 3rd grade up and everything, and lo and behold, she gets in. She was in soundtracks her first semester and just loved it. Her one regret from high school was that she didn't take more choir because she would have loved to be with Mama Derlin, as well as Mr. Mullenkamp. But after that first semester, somebody was out with an illness, and she ended up in sound effects too. Right after that, COVID hit, and it wiped out everything, and we won't dwell on that negative time, but I do want to applaud those of you who were on the board during that time because you were in a no-win situation, and I think looking at everything, we came out winners through that, so that guidance was, yeah. During that time, when nobody knew what was coming next week, next month, next year, the athletes, the artists, the performing artists, it was like the rug got pulled out from under them. They didn't know when they were going to be able to compete again or to sing again or dance again. And there was a mom in our area who was a Broadway star who started doing porch concerts, 3 Broadway songs, and the neighborhood would come and sit spread out with their masks. And Mr. Mullenkamp happened to be at one of those because they're friends, and she has children in the program too. And so my daughter was one of the kids there. There were about 10 kids there. And I have a picture I took from the side of these 10 kids sitting spread out that he took the time to talk to and just gave them hope. And they came away from that after months of having like the rug out from under them, just having hope that there was going to be something coming up. And now my son, who's a freshman, and he came in from being homeschooled. It's different for boys than girls. And the first week of school, Mr. Mullenkamp said, he reached out to me at back to school night and said, if he has any trouble making friends, if he has nobody to sit with at lunch, please let me know. I'll make sure that happens. And the thing is, he did have friends and he did have people because at rehearsal, or at auditions the spring before, which we're about to come into, the first thing Mr. Mullenkamp had said was, meet 3 people you don't know before you walk into auditions. And he just has meant so much he's made the world. And my son says right now, I don't know if it's worth it to go to school while he's not there. And that's kind of I have so much more to say, but I won't. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Aaron. Thank you so much. Thank you. So we're going to move on to...
I'll just remind,
Okay,
unfortunately, it's always frustrating for an audience member to hear that the board can't really comment of anything that is presented during public comment, as it's not on the agenda. But we do want to thank you for sharing your voice and really advocating and letting us know the difference that many individuals, let alone Mr. Molenkamp, has made in your child's and your whole family's life. So thank you very much for that.
Yes, thank you. We appreciate it. Thank you. So we're going to move on to consent items. We're looking for approval of an overnight extended field trip. And a second, I'm going to talk with Mrs. Reed. Should I do the motion first? No, you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Perfect. So tonight on the agenda for consent is an overnight extended field trip for Los Alamitos High School Jazz 1 and Jazz 2 students to attend the Oceanside Jazz Festival to compete and perform with other high schools May 2nd through the 3rd.
Thank you. Do I have a motion for approval?
I will.
Okay, is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. The motion carries 5-0. We now move on to action items, and Mrs. Reed.
Perfect. Thank you so much, President Davidson. Tonight, I'm here to give our 24-25 update on Proposition 28. So it's been about a year since we've been here talking about Prop 28. So just as a reminder for those, Prop 28 was approved by California voters in November of 2022, and it provides a dedicated source of funding to increase access to the arts and music education in public schools without raising taxes. So beginning in the 23-24 school year, the state allocated approximately $1 billion to the state's general fund for the purpose of Proposition 28. And so key features of this proposition include that 80% of the funds must be used for hiring certificated or classified staff to expand arts programs within schools, that the funds are distributed on a per pupil basis with additional weight for students in low income communities. And so we'll take a minute later in the presentation to look at that funding formula, and that LEAs must annually report on the expenditures and program outcomes to ensure transparency and accountability. And so the definition of arts under Prop 28 is large and very wide, which is awesome for schools because it gives our school sites a lot of flexibility to meet the needs of the various learners and teaching staff on our campuses. So everything from dance to media arts, music composition, animation, film, video, costume design, all fall under the definitions and can be used to support funding and programs under Proposition 28. So the proposition money does require funding to be used primarily to hire new arts staff. And so the proposition requires that at least 80% of the additional funding be used to hire school district employees, either certificated or classified. So that means that 80% can't be used to partner with outside organizations that provide arts programs or arts teachers to your school district, but must be district employees funded through the 80%. The remaining percent, roughly 20%, can be used for training, supplies, materials, or for an educational partnership that revolves around the arts. And that schools have 3 years to spend down the funds that they receive each year. So we track the money we receive annually in a 3-year increment to make sure we're spending down those monies before they expire. So technically under the bill, it's 80% for staff, 19% for supplies, materials, and partnerships, and 1% for administrative costs. We've really just been operating under an 80-20 to make it very easy for our school sites. Something that's unique is that this bill also requires a mandate to supplement arts funding. And so the funds have to increase current arts education spending and not replace existing expenditures. So we can't supplant current funding that we have for the arts, we must supplement it. So for example, if we have a full-time music teacher that's being currently funded under the general fund, we can't use Proposition 28 money to instead supplant that position with Prop 28 money. It must be staffing that's in addition to the baseline staffing that we had in the 22-23 school year. And so the supplement means that schools and districts shall use the funds appropriated to increase funding of arts education programs and not to supplant existing funding. So staffing and supplies would need to be in addition to current funding for staffing in the arts. So really it's a basis of supplement, not supplant. And so what we've done, and I want to give a big shout out to Dr. Weiss-Wright and the Human Resources Department, as well as our Personnel Commission, is to make this possible. We probably added 15 classified positions that didn't previously exist to be able to use our money very wisely. Things like instructional aid, visual arts, drama, choir, gallery assistant at the high school, to really make best use of these funds. And so the funding formula really works two ways. It's one on your enrollment, and then 70% is based on enrollment, and then 30% is based on the share of economically disadvantaged students, or Title I students at each school site. And so an economically disadvantaged pupil under Prop 28 means a pupil eligible for the Federal National School Lunch Act. And so each school gets a school-based apportionment. They get $110.50 per non-Title I student, or $188.92 per Title I student. And so when we go back to our 23-24 school year, Los Al did something that many school districts did in that first year, and that was we applied for a waiver that we would not have to use 80% of the money that one school year on staffing. During this 23-24 school year, we actually didn't receive any funding from the state until February of that school year. And so many school districts like us really paused, and we were giving a lot of guidance by the county to also be cautious and thoughtful in purposely planning this, because we had no money given to us by the state when this plan started. So we really wanted to make sure we were going to get the funding before we brought on employees. So we did apply for a waiver for 1 year, so that 80% of money for the first year could be used to build some foundations to our programs. So for example, we've started a visual art program at our elementary sites. 5 of our school sites previously had partnerships that provided some visual art instruction, but now we have an elementary visual arts team. And as you can imagine, to start a program like that across 5 school sites, there's a large startup revenue that you need to be able to get supplies, curriculum, ongoing supplies that feed all of the students' TK5 for arts material. So based on that, we are hopeful that our waiver will be approved at the end of the 3-year term. So what the state has shared with us is to continue on, and at the end of that would be the 26-27 school year, they will relook at our waiver, and we have since apportionmented our 23-24 funds up above, as you can see. So for example, Hopkinson received $71,609 for 23-24. We released immediately supply money to each of the school sites, so roughly 18% that they got to use in that 23-24 school year. And then we pushed off the $58,914, that would have been that 80% for staffing, to the 25-26 school year. So each of our school sites has a separate plan that they've built to use that 80% under the waiver to build foundations and startup money for each of the arts programs that they've created at their school sites. So for 24-25, the above apportionments for each school site are listed above. And just as a reminder, annual apportionments are based on the previous school year student population. So currently our enrollment for the 24-25 school year will help generate the percent that's based on enrollment for the 25-26 funding. So our plans are updated annually. Schools will update the plans to account for changes in their apportionments based on enrollment fluctuations, but also based on staffing costs that can change due to step and column. So as we hire certificated or classified employees and they stay with us a longer period of time, they move across our staffing columns. And so our staff will also be taking that into consideration along with the apportionment given for attendance. So annually, the plans will shift as we have staff that are with us longer, or if school sites, see an increase or decrease enrollment, or an increase and decrease in the number of Title I students. They'll also going to see a fluctuation in the amount of money that they receive each school year.
Mrs. Reed?
Yes.
I just want to make sure that I'm clear. Unlike some other programs that we've gotten in the past, this is funding that we anticipate continuing on, correct?
Absolutely. It's above the amount that we're allotted. And so since it was passed by the community and voters, we will receive that percentage ongoingly. And so just some reminders as we talk about what we did with our money this school year is that schools within the same school district cannot use their funding to offset costs or programs at other schools. And so all funding must be tracked to use at each school site that it was allocated to support. So that means that our secondary schools cannot use their money at the elementary school level to build feeder or foundational programs. Initially, there was a lot of interest from our secondary school sites to give some of their apportionment over to the elementary level to build very vibrant feeder programs for choir, instrumental music, drama, and dance. But under Prop 28, you're not allowed to pool resources unless those resources are used in the same proportionality to the school site that gave the resources, meaning none of the money from Oak McCullough or the high school could be used for any of the programs at our elementary level. When schools choose to combine their funding to support an employee, that employee's time must be directly attributed to the percentage of funding given by each school. So for example, 60% of funding for an employee comes from school A. That means that 60% of that employee's time must be spent at school A. And so that's part of what we're audited on, and we track through the use of our funding as well. So when we look at 24-25, at the elementary level, we saw multiple staffing increases. We saw a full-time hire of a visual arts teacher that shared between Hopkinton, Lee, LAE, Rossmore, and Weaver, as well as 3 visual art instructional assistants that support those same 5 school sites. So it's really a team of 4 adults that deploy on our campuses, at those 5 campuses, to provide a visual arts program across those school sites. McGaw is not included in that because McGaw's had a long-standing visual arts program that's funded by their Project Seek that's been part of their campus culture for many school years. Our other 5 elementary schools that had partnerships with programs like Meet the Masters, where they had docents come in and with parental support provided a monthly art lesson. So now our other 5 school sites have an art team, much like what you see at McGaw Elementary, that's curating projects that are integrated within our curriculum, and the same teachers coming on campus and really deploying a more comprehensive visual arts program that runs TK through 5th grade. We additionally have hired 2 general music instructional assistants, one shared between Hopkinton and Weaver and one at McGaw. We have also seen an increase in a general music position from a credentialed from 60 to 100% at both LAE and McGaw. And so really what this is and how this impacts us at the elementary level is that we are now able to sustain a TK5 visual arts program at all schools, and we have TK5 music at all schools. Both the increase in general music and the music instructional assistants have allowed us to give weekly music instruction to both our TK and kinder programs. Previously, our general education music teachers, general music teachers that were funded by the district did weekly release for 1st through 5th grade students. So we've been able to expand our music instruction TK5 with the support of Prop 28. At the middle school, we've seen staffing increases, 0.2 FTE of visual art at Oak and McCullough, a 0.2 FTE drama at Oak and McCullough, 1 vocal music or show choir instructional assistant shared between Oak and McCullough, and then 2 instrumental music instructional assistants, 1 at Oak and 1 at McCullough. So our Prop 28 impact at the middle school is we've seen an increase in drama and visual art teaching sections at both of our middle schools. And this past year, our middle schools have used those additional 1 teaching section of art and drama to increase the opportunity for electives for our 6th and 7th grade students. So we had many students who were able to take advantage of 2 electives last school year as we opened up access to visual art and drama. Many of you know that if a child chooses choir or instrumental music at the middle school level, that's a year-long elective, and they don't have an opportunity to loop through some of the other courses. So this opened up that opportunity if a student was in STEM or a music year-long elective to also take advantage of an art elective during 0 period and really have that 0 through 7th period day. In addition, it allowed us to hire instructional assistants within vocal and instrumental music to really tier our targeted support within those classes. As you can imagine, after seeing the accolades from our high school, many of our students have been engaged in vocal and instrumental music production since a young age. And so when you come to the middle school, you can have a choir that has students who are singing for the first time, as well as students who have had private music lessons for many years. And so having the additional instructional assistant in the classroom has allowed us to really target our support for our musicians within our section so that all students are really receiving support and instruction at the level that they're at, whether that's beginning, an intermediate, or a more advanced instrumental or vocal music student. At the high school, we've also seen staffing increases. In vocal music, we've had a vocal music show choir instructional assistant. Dance has picked up a dance choreography instructional assistant. 0.4 FTE instrumental music teacher. Drama, 1 drama theater instructional assistant. And then within visual art, we've seen a 0.4 FTE visual art teacher with an additional section of advanced photo as well as advanced digital arts, a gallery assistant, and a visual art assistant. So our Prop 28 program impacts at the high school are an increase in instrumental music and visual art teaching sections, as well as an addition of the vocal music, dance, and visual art instructional assistants, once again to further be able to tier that support of our different artists and performing artists within those sections. And so having 2 adults present that really have that scope and schema and craft of expertise in those areas there to support student learning. And so we also have some shared staffing increases. And so we're really blessed. Our music teachers and our instrumental performing arts teachers put on these amazing productions for our families to enjoy that really showcase and highlight the work of our students. And so we rely on theater technicians to be able to help behind the scenes, running both the PAC as well as the McGaw Auditorium for this. And so through shared resources of money across the school sites, we were able to increase our theater production technician from 18.7 hours a week to 28.75 hours a week so that we could increase access to those performance spaces and support. And so really TK-12, the program impact has been access to additional theater support up at both the Performing Arts Center and the McGaw Auditorium for all schools. The plans are flexible and we're able to make updates ongoingly as long as annually we share those out and they're available on our website. And so the annual data reporting does require that the local governing board certify each year that the funding the schools received is spent on arts education, that local governing boards post on their website a report on how funds were spent. The report must include all types of art education programs funded, the numbers of staff employed, and the number of students served, and the number of school sites providing arts education with the funding that's received. And so if you go on to our school district website and you log on to departments from losal.org, and then education services, there is a tab on the right-hand side that says Proposition 28. And so all of our documents are posted there. And as we certify new documents, they are updated and posted there as well. And so we also provide this report to CDE, and it's made public on our school site's website with a link as well. And so this last table is part of that certification process that contains that information that's required by the California Department of Ed. The number of full-time equivalent teachers that arts and music programs have that are supported through arts and music funds or AMS funds for us was an increase of 2.97 FTE as a district this past school year. The number of full-time equivalent personnel classified providing art education programs with AMS funds is 0.10. That is the theater technician increase because the state puts classified employees into 2 buckets of people, one serving students and one serving programs. So that third row there is the number of full-time equivalent teaching aides providing arts education programs with AMS funds. And so that's 9.3 FTE here in Los Alamitos Unified. We are currently serving 8,740 students with our AMS funds, and all 9 of our school sites are currently providing arts educations and programs that are funded with AMS funds. And so on the agenda tonight is the annual certification of our Prop 28 funds for the 24-25 school year.
So I just have a question. It looks like it's very coordinated and there's commonality between elementary schools in decision-making and collaboration and then middle schools. How was that orchestrated from the beginning? I know McGaw goes a little bit separately because they have separate funding, but how was that orchestrated?
So we had a very large Universal Arts Prop 28 committee during the 21-22 school year, which continued into the 22-23 school year. So we brought together teachers from all of the disciplines, administrators, and really started working on what we thought was going to be a TK-12 arts plan, because initially as a school district, the information that we were receiving from the county and the state was that we were going to see one large sum of money and that we could support arts education TK-12. And so our initial planning for the first 2 years was really to build these strong elementary foundational programs that would support this hierarchy of really advanced programming that we see 6-12. So when we got new information at the beginning of the 23-24 school year, we actually broke our large committee apart into an elementary universal arts committee and a secondary universal arts committee, and started really envisioning what would we want a Griffin graduate to have access to during their time in Los Alamitos Unified, and really spent some time backwards mapping the types of experiences that we would want students to have access to through arts education. We then rolled out surveys to all of our teachers at the elementary level and engage with principals at that level as well to see where the best use of the funds at the elementary level would be now that we knew we had a much smaller amount of money to work with. If you remember back to that slide, most school sites at the elementary receive somewhere between $60,000 and $71,000. That doesn't cover the cost of a full FTE of one teacher even. And so through feedback from our teachers and principals, we really solidified visual art as the emphasis at elementary, because all students, regardless of disability or purpose, can engage in a visual arts experience. Knowing that we're already providing, although it's not a full-time music teacher, I would say we provide a very robust music program at our elementary levels because of the exceptional teachers that we have in place. So our students have opportunities to participate in vocal music and instrumental music production. And so we've brought that group back together once a year to annually update our plan. So we'll start redoing that work for the 25-26 school years once we receive the apportionments from the state, which as of last week, we still haven't received our apportionment number for the 25-26 school year.
Thank you. I truly appreciate the way you create a vision by listening to the stakeholders and working together. I remember when it flipped, when we were doing the elementary program and COVID and everything else got in the way. So we appreciate, it's so powerful to see how everybody's working together and using not a huge amount of money in the best ways possible because of the conversation. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you.
Do we need to, I make a motion that we approve the 2024-2025 Proposition 28 annual certification.
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you very much, Mrs. Reed. That was impressive. So, Kate. So that we're now going to go to Mrs. Schnur. She's going to talk about acknowledgement of receipt of claims dated April 8th, 2025 and received April 15th, 2025.
Thank you, Madam President. As part of Government Code Section 911-15, the board, if we ever receive a liability claim, the board must accept it, but then reject it. So in order for legal proceedings to begin, and based on our attorneys, they've asked us to make sure we do that.
Thank you. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. The motion carries 5-0. And that brings us to the end of this part of the meeting, and we are going to go into closed session. I think all of you, I wish I could cater a dinner for you. That's like, you have fortitude. Thank you for sticking with us. Yeah, we should have got you some Subway boxes. Thank you so much. Thank you.